controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. We're talking about the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy.
What is this?
Today we're talking about the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The chief minister ain't this. The chief minister that. I didn't form nothing. Nothing. All I did was continue what was trying to be discontinued. 1995, Supreme Grand Council that is, stood up and say the prophet grand body is no more. And I said, no, Joe, that won't go. No, Joe, that won't go. That won't go. Yeah. I said I would continue on. They said, well, brother, right here, we're going to make you a supreme member of the Supreme Grand Council. I say, all is well with that idea. Well, guess what? The grand body still is. The grand body still is the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. We're talking about the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy.
What is this?
Today we're talking about the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The chief minister ain't this. The chief minister that. I didn't form nothing. Nothing. All I did was continue what was trying to be discontinued. 1995, Supreme Grand Council that is, stood up and say the prophet grand body is no more. And I said, no, Joe, that won't go. No, Joe, that won't go. That won't go. Yeah. And I said I would continue on. They said, well, brother, right here, we're going to make you a supreme member of the Supreme Grand Council. I said, all is well with that idea. Well, guess what? The grand body still, but the grand body still is the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. We're talking about the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy.
What is this round? What is this that surrounds me? Allah's loving arms. What is this upholds me? Allah's hand.
Religious controversy. The religious controversy really stems from the fact, what's your religion? What's your nationality? And we as a people should understand the depth of what's your nationality, what's your religion. It goes way back before Prophet Noble Ali came. When the slaveholder beat Kula Kinte and made him Toby. When he told the Negroes on the plantation, you can't say your own name in your own language. Then he divided us from our religion, became the controversy. Since that time, we've been running around the people trying to say what our religion is on our own, like we know better. But what we actually been doing is switching from one slaveholder to another. We go from Christianity, from Judaism. The Jews sold us into slavery. They came out of Egypt, and it tells you in the Bible, in Leviticus, that they're going to slave the people that came out of Egypt with them. Then if you get into Christianity, Say we're cursed people. From Ham, we're cursed people. Then when you get into Islam, they tell you Muhammad's the last prophet. And while they hold the Quran up in there and say Allahu Akbar, they had their foot on our neck. They held us in slavery in Arabia up to 1962. Now I had some people tell me, well, Brother Wright, you know, the original Arabs, they were black, they was Moors. Now I have to tell them you a lie. The original Arabs was not Moors. It's impossible. It's so impossible that I put up the scripture. The scripture, Psalms 83, verse 6. It says the Ishmaelites on the land of the Moabites. It didn't say the Moabites on the land, Ishmaelites. So the Ishmaelites are descendants of Ishmael, who descended of Ibrahim through Hagar. So that lets you know they had to be on our land. We was never on their land. Now, as occupying authorities, they've changed the history of our people. So now we believe in order to be Islamic, we gotta speak Arabic and dye our beards red, wear our pants all the way up to our kneecaps and, you know, speak Arabic. What's the difference between that and Christianity? None. Because the Christian gave you a Christian named Joe Bob.
Islam. Welcome to another edition of If the Truth Be Told. As our teacher.
Okay, you got to go on the phone to show the taping. We'll start there.
I'm going to start the tape right away.
Yes, sir.
And
I am sickly. It's hope that we can remain brothers in faith. Anyway, am now feeling go hot and bring this letter to end. I don't know what that means. Please don't allow your feelings towards Braswell Bay keep you at distance from us. I would like to hear from you still. All right. So this is the part he was supposed to be turning in his papers, and boom, that's it. And now he's something else. Now, hold up. Let's get this guarded. It's about to get heat. It's about to get heated in here. So the first time, him and his crackhead buddies appointed him. The second time, supposedly,
Go back. Go back. It's finna get heated in here. It's finna get hot in here. Called Trump Jr. Taharka said, my crackhead buddies. First, let's go with this here. Now, P. Davis Hill was the Supreme Grand Sheik at that time. He was actually the third Supreme Grand Sheik ever appointed of the Prophet's More Scientific America. This is what I'm saying. In the Prophet's More Scientific America. That's the More Scientific America. They became independent July the 20th. It's the same group that the Prophet filed paperwork August the 1st, 1928. Now, Meadville was the first Supreme Grand Sheik. Morrisonville was the second. Wasn't done since that time. Was no more Supreme Grand Sheiks until that time. Why? Because Sister D. Meadville got rid of the Supreme Grand Sheiks because she only had her husband as Supreme Grand Sheik. I'd already showed y'all letters that she was writing letters still in his name up to the 80s. When I met her, she told me that that Billy Hill wasn't the Supreme Grand Sheik, and that was in 78. And she said her husband, E. Meadville, was the Supreme Grand Sheik. I said, but sister, didn't he die in 1934? She said, yeah, but the prophet said. See, I like the way y'all use the prophet said, and how then y'all narrate what the prophet said to be what you want it to be. This is why I call Taharka Trump Jr., because he has this fake news, this fake reports. So now he's saying according to this letter, that P. Davis Hill still recognized me as who I was. Now, if the man still recognized me to who I was, did he ever tell you who I was? See, this is the catch. Y'all listen to the line Taharka, but he don't explain nothing to you. He just gives you company. And we're going to get hot now. Pump, your breath stink. We know that. We know your breath stink. We know your breath smell like doo-doo. But now, I'm looking for the picture. It might be in the drawer over here, where it shows that P. Davis Hill came to our temple in Oakland, California. Oh, here it is right here. Huh. We got it right here. Huh. Okay, let me, oh, shucks. Now, what I love about doing this is Taharka only have one side of stuff, you know. Now, the only way you could have got that letter was from Billy Hill. Because Billy Hill used to sit on the Supreme Council after I left. After they overthrew the prophet, starting in the convention of 1995, to which Billy Hill stood right next to Trump Jr., Taharka, saying that the Supreme Grand Council overthrew the prophet's grand body. And guess who was on the grand body? Yours truly. I was on the grand body. I refused to follow them. But Billy Hill, he was mad because I got him removed from office. Because I told everybody I don't follow no faggot. I never stopped saying that. There's nobody that know me that won't tell you I call Billy Hill a faggot. I even asked him to his face, was he a homosexual? And he said, I'm tired of P. Davis Hill and Braswell Bay talking about I'm a homosexual. But he never said he wasn't. That's the strange part. I would have thought he defended himself and said, hell no. But instead, he said he tired of Braswell Bay and Peter Ezell called him homosexual. So, I'm getting close. I got to put all this stuff together. As you know, these folders are overfilled with stuff. I have to break my folders down to being halves of stuff. So now he showed you the paper that said what the third Supreme Grand Chief told me. He still recognized me as who I was. But this fool don't tell you who I was when I met him. See? But then those people that follow him really don't care because they wanted to be somebody. Like that Negro, they want to be something that they're not. He's telling them like Braswell Bay, we got the records. We got the records. Yeah, you got the records, but you ain't telling the truth. Billy Hill told you they was lying when they said he was the Supreme Grand Chief of the Moorish Scientific America, to which he never was. He was never the Supreme Grand Chief. Technically, he was, but for a moment, after his grandmother died, the truth of the matter is, P. Davis Hill, Braswell Bay and them acknowledged him as being the Supreme Grand Chief. I remember what Billy Hill told me about that too. Billy Hill say, Braswell Bay, it's time for us to go public. Now he said, but we're not ready. This is what he said. He told me they're not ready. Let me just show you this here. See that? Now that is a picture of the Supreme Grand Sheik P. Davis Hill in my temple with one of my members. Now, if you look behind him, there's a charter on the wall. Notice there's a charter on the wall. Now, on the front of this document is what? A warrant of authority. This warrant of authority is given to me by the grand body of P. Davis Hill and them. It's not it's not, which has more power, the charter or the warrant of authority? Which has most standing, both in law and Islam, the charter or the warrant of authority? Now, the sad part of it is, and the truthful part of it is, I had a charter. When I met them, I had a charter. See, that's the cold part. I didn't get a charter after I met them. I had my charter before I met them. So before I met P. Davis Hill and them, when they went down there and joined up with Bill Hill family, I had a charter. See, I had a charter because I got my charter from the original Temple 17. Who's the head of the original Temple 17? Sister Asab Bay, which you can see her with the prophet. If you look at any of the convention member pictures, where they standing before the temple building. So if I had a charter from her and she was a governor, I'm going to let you know she was a governor. Now, at no time, their sister, D.B. Leo, took over the temple in the, all the way up to the 70s. From the 70s on, she didn't give out nobody no charter. Matter of fact, when I joined the temple, P. Davis Hill and Braswell Bay and that hooker, I'm going to call him a hooker, Betty Hill, all agreed that should nobody have no charters. That nobody have no charters over there except for them. But they understood the power of the charter, the authority of the charter. So when I joined them, I never forget it, they knew I had a charter and stuff. And then now that I have a charter, I was in California and I started up, besides temple, my temple, I started 2 other temples. I started a temple in Oakland, California, and I was starting a temple in Los Angeles, California. Plus I had my temple in San Francisco. That would make me have what, 3 temples, right? I'd have what, 2 grand sheiks under me. And the brother I was finna start the temple in Oakland was named today Rasuli. Rasuli went over there to the Acorns and started having services. And sometimes we come from Oakland over there. What temples they have in Chicago? Let me see, around the country. All right. P.A. was here, Braswell Bay, and Billy only had 1 temple. That was their temple. They had no members but the 8 or 9 they had. That's it. So what is he talking about? It's going to get hot. I guess he wasn't expecting the fire to come after he told that lie. So anyway, I had a warrant of authority. I had a charter. And I gave them back their warrant of authority. So quite naturally, P. Davis Hill was, I still acknowledge you as who you was when you came to me. Because when I came to them, he acknowledged me as the head of a temple. See, unlike him, see, Taharka comes from the false prophet by the name of Simple Bay. So Simple Bay, if you watch his own videos, he got Simple Bay up there as the prophet, and he said, I made you. Simple Bay tells Mr. Trump Taharka Jr., I made you. Look at his own tapes. So when he left there with the fake prophet and went over to Belial, who got kicked out the temple, he didn't do nothing but what? Switch from one non-war to another. Because Belial got kicked out the temple in 2004. Braswell Bay took them all to court in 2005, including me. But I'm the only one that legally responded to the case. You have to believe me. Go on .gov and go under More Scientific America, Grand Temple #1, suing everybody else. And I had the case thrown out when I joined. Then he said, my crackhead buddy. What crackhead buddy is he talking about? P. Davis Hill, Braswell Bay, Belly Hill. No, they're the ones that made me a grand governor in their body. See, this is the thing. As I was teaching this morning, your lower selves follow your lower self. Your lower self is attracted to your lower self. Why would anybody join Taharka and you can tell he lying? Go ahead, cut the tape on for a moment. Let's go.
The guidance of the Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Home Office at any time can revoke or suspend this charge. Now, suspend this warrant of authority. Now, let's stop right there. Number one, his authority was for the state of California, and it was through P. Davis L., according to this. But now, listen, there's word here that this is even.
I ain't saying my authority came from
like,
P.
this is a forgery.
Wait a minute.
That's what was said.
Wait.
I don't.
How did I have a temple in Oakland, in California, before I came to Chicago in '92 to whoop Billy Hill's ass? How did I have a temple before then? Oh, because I was over there with Olive Hill. So if he's saying Olive Hill was a fake or whatever, because he was with Kirkman Bay, well, you was over there with that nut sample Bay, who said he was the prophet. The first time I met Taharka, he was with the false prophet, and the false prophet said, who am I to you? And Taharka said, yeah, prophet Noah, you Ali. Yeah, prophet Noah, you Ali. He looked at us and said, who am I to y'all? Yeah, prophet Noah, you Ali. Yeah, prophet Noah, you Ali. Then he looked at me and said, brother, who am I to you? I said, you're not my prophet. I had the heart in his temple. He got 15, 20 members up in there. And they all holler, he's Noble Joel. And I told him, I'd have but 3 people with him. And I told him, listen, you're not my prophet. That's how much a man I am. And he know that. Now, y'all say, well, why are you attacking you now, brother? Because I put that hoe out my temple. But go look at the show. Go look at the first show in 2018 in March. In April. You see me on this show. He kissing my butt. Well, I gotta get a pen and paper. We gotta keep up what you're saying. Okay, what changed the next month? Oh, because I put that hole out my temple that you would now. Anyway, let's go on.
Don't know how true it is, but it don't make a difference to me because this is just another. This is P. Davis Hill right here. This is just another number 2 of how he became in power, how he come into power. All right. Now let's go on down and look at how he dashes out of power. Now this one here is supposed to be from P. Davis Hill also. You see that right there? Brother P. Davis Hill there, Brother P. Davis Hill right here. And this is supposed to how he is removed or he removes himself from power. Let's go ahead and read it and see what it says. So we got 2 ways he got in, supposedly. I, P. Davis Hill, Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, chairman of the Moorish body, Supreme Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America, do hereby declare that I still, and who says this after a person is removed, that I still recognize Bro Rod
Who says is that a person that's in their mind and know what the hell they talking about? That's who P. Davis Hill was and is. Now here go the fact. P. Davis Hill say he still recognized me, but the brother that was under me at Temple 24, they removed from office. Ain't they going with the letter? Because he said the man that turned himself in. So if the brother that turned himself in, P. Davis Hill, so we're not recognizing him. Go ahead. So P. Davis Hill, I'm not recognizing Jamari Bay because he didn't turn in his paperwork.
As being a sole representative of the Moorish Science Temple of America in the state of California. And it was his choice to resign from the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America due to the issues that stood before him and myself and others on the Supreme Grand Council of the MSTAB, as he was already an executive ruler. So this speaks, I mean, it reeks of a forgery. For number one, if you're leaving an organization, how you still gonna be a representative?
Wait, stop it, please, stop it. How in the hell he's still a representative? Oh my God. He just told on himself. He said, how can you be a representative organization you left, right? Don't he say he's the Moorish Science Temple of America? Don't this nigga say he's the Grand Sheik, Supreme Grand Sheik? What? Where he come from? He telling his story, not mine. The nigga just saying when you left the organization, let's see. He left when I first met the nigga. He was under a false prophet. Sample Bay. I call him Simple Bay. He was under Simple Bay, who said he was Prophet Noble Jew Ali. And when Simple Bay asked him, who was he to him? This Negro say you Prophet Noble Jew Ali, a fake prophet. Then he leaves a fake prophet and go with a homosexual, a man that got kicked out of the temple in 2004. Wait a minute, then he leaves him in 2017. How in the hell is charter stuff still good? How in the hell he still giving out stuff? How in the hell he still having the number of the Moorish Science Temple of America? See, this is what I'm saying. Y'all don't listen to these niggas. This man say he left the temple. Now he said you can't leave the temple, represent the temple. How did he even say that? Listen, let me tell you how Satan lied. Jesus said it all. When he tells a lie, he thinks he's talking the truth. This is a prime example. If this nigga here just said that if you left the temple, how can you represent something you left? It's got hot in here. How in the hell do you represent the prophet? All these dumb people talking about, well, he just left Braswell Bay, he left P. Davis here. No, he left the prophet. You left the temple. How in the hell you leave the temple and be a temple? And then all of a sudden you got all these fools running around talking about, I'm the noble. We noble modes. Well, we got a temple. We the real Moorish Science Temple. How this nigga just said if you left, how can you be there? Repeat that, Mo, one time.
Prophet Ali in America to anoint, appoint, and consecrate missionaries of the prophet.
Put it up loud.
It says this one of authority gives Ra'el, talking about Rasadiel, the power in the state of California to act as official act as an official of the Moorish Science Temple of America through the guidance of the Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Home Office at any time can revoke or suspend this charge. Now suspend this one of authority. Now let's stop right there. Number one, his authority was for the state of California, and it was through P. Davis L. according to this. But now listen, there's word is that this is even jacked up. Like this is a forgery. That's what was said. I don't know how true it is, but it don't make a difference to me because this is just
he said the truth or falsehood don't make a difference to him. He just want to run off at the mouth. Go ahead, finish it.
This is P. Davis L right here. This is just another number two of how he became in power, how he come into power. All right. Now let's go on down and look at how he dashes out of power. Now, this one here It's supposed to be from P. Davis L. Also, you see that right there? Brother P. Davis L. there, Brother P. Davis L. right here. And this is supposed to how he is removed, or he removes himself from power. Let's go ahead and read it and see what it says. So we got 2 ways he got in, supposedly. I, P. Davis L. Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, chairman of the Moorish body, Supreme Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America, do hereby declare that I still, and who says this after a person is removed, that I still recognize Bro Rael as being a sole representative of the Moorish Science Temple of America in the state of California. And it was his choice to resign from the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America due to the issues that stood before him and myself and others on the Supreme Grand Council of the MSTAB, as he was already an executive ruler. So this speaks, I mean, it reeks of
the one already ahead of a temple and stuff and making adepts and stuff. Finish it, let it finish.
Forgery. For number one, if you're leaving an organization, how you still gonna be a representative?
Wait. Play that. Can we get it where that play 4 or 5 times? Because he said, how do you leave an organization and still represent it? I didn't leave the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Who says this after a person is removed? That I still recognize Bro Rael as being a sole representative of the Moorish Science Temple of America in the state of California. And it was his choice to resign from the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America due to the issues that stood before him and myself and others on the Supreme Grand Council of the MSTAB, as he was already an executive ruler. So this speaks, I mean, it reeks of a forgery. For number one, if you're leaving an organization, how you still gonna be a representative?
Wait, stop it. He said, if you leave an organization, how in the hell you still represent? Can somebody tell me how he a temple? Anybody follow him? Can you call me right now and tell me how that nigga is representing the Moorish Science Temple of America and he left the temple in 2017? I was a temple when I came to P. Davis Hill and them. I said I'll work with y'all in unity to reestablish the prophet's body. This is the same pork chop eating Negro, Trump Jr., Taharka, that was following a man when I went up there. Listen, when I went up there to Baltimore, he was following a fake prophet. The brother name was Sample Bay. I called him Simple Bay. He went, changed his name to Prophet Noble Juali. And he interviewed his master teacher. And he turned around and he said in front of the man on his own show, I made you. Now let's look at it. You left the guy that made you a fake. Then you went to Belly Hill, who couldn't make nothing. He couldn't bust a Moorish grape because he got moved from office. And that same guy in the 2015 convention where Joe Pump Butt was at, standing next to Belly Hill, look at the tape, and Belly Hill say this. The Supreme Grand Council overthrew the Prophet's Grand Body in 1995. Oh, wait. I was there. Belly Hill was going with them because I would recognize him because he was a faggot. I got the paperwork. I left there in 95. A grand governor came back and got the new paperwork, and I was a grand sheik. All the grand governors was gone. And I asked him how, wait, I think I got that letter too. Let me see if I got that letter right here. See? Because he turned around and asked me, why am I talking bad about them? Which y'all know I do. I do talk bad about people. P. Davis Hill wanted to know, why was I talking bad about him? And he admitted, yes, we had a secret meeting. In that meeting, we determined that the grand body and the Supreme Council was one. How do you determine that? How do you have a meeting of the body without the body? The prophet said, tomorrow I shall pick 7 men tried and true and accepted by you. What happened to the accepted by you here? What happened to the grand body? Who make the law and enforce the law? The Supreme Council was never given that authority. Never. Wait a minute. Here it is. I got the letter. This is the nigga don't have information. He got information. I got now. This is what it says. This letter was sent to me October the 6th, 1995, to Brother Rasa Deal, Grand Seeker Temple Number 2, California, from Brother P. Davis Deal, Grand Sheik of the Moorish Scientific American, Chairman of the Supreme Grand Council. Your October 6th letter, he says, my October 6th letter, 1995 letter to the Grand Body Supreme Council. Brother Ra'il, I find your attack upon myself in the Supreme Council, Grand Body, he put Grand Body in parentheses, to be shocking. And I'm giving you the following reason why I, as the Supreme Grand Sheik, disagree with what you did during the last convention of 1995. Here you go, I'm gonna put this up close so they can see it. Both sides. Just in case somebody won't make a copy of it. I'll do it if you got to look at the thing. Just in case y'all want to make a copy of it. This is the letter I received from the then Supreme Grand Sheik. So the question becomes, what happened in 1995? Oh, Billy Hill said the Supreme Grand Council overthrew the Grand Body. And I went off like a jack. I'm the one that told him that if you don't get right, I'm going to give you 1 year to get right. How you give it? I told him I'm going to give y'all 1 year. Temple number 1, so I'm going to give y'all 1 year to get it right. I didn't pay no dues. I didn't pay no taxes. I didn't give nothing. I brought a check, 2 checks for $750 with me, $1,500 altogether. I didn't give him a dime because they didn't get right. This is what he said. I find your attack upon myself in the Supreme Council, he put Grand Body, to be shocking. And I'm giving you the following reason, as I as the Supreme Grand Sheik, disagree with you during the last convention of 95 and my response to your call, your challenging letter to me. Why would you blame the problems of this movement on this Supreme Grand Council, which has only been in existence only for 2 years? Yes, there are those on this grand body, as you say, aren't really adeptly qualified. But they all are they're all I have to work with. At this hour, you know this, and you agreed to allow them with the rest of this grand body back at the convention in 94. Right? You even signed a letter to this fact. Am I right? I did sign a letter. And I agreed that they can be on office until we find better.
Islam, you got a question.
What's the question?
It's from a Universal Knowledge
Republic
4000. Islam, question. So this means that only MST 1928 and MST 1934 R. Jones Bay are the only qualified Moorish institutions and other groups such as D. Bailey Eel.
Well, let me answer that. You don't have to go that far. The Mo's reading it off. You don't have to go that far. What do the law say? The law said, the prophet said, there's but one more sign temple of America, and that's my more sign temple of America. But one grand body, one supreme grand council, one set of temples. Now, I represent the prophets. How? This letter is explaining how. Because I refuse to throw the prophet out the window. If you universal, go there and look at look at Bailey Eel's own taping, where he said, he said in his convention 2015 that the grand body, the Supreme Grand Council, overthrew the prophet and the grand body. Listen to the word, overthrew the prophet and the grand body. Look what it says. Right, you signed the letter. In fact, yes, I did. I signed the letter saying, hey, these brothers you got up here unqualified, don't know nothing, but I'm willing to work with you while you work with them. Now check it. 2. Now you also know full well that these problems developed many years ago following the overthrow of the prophet's central authority. When Sister D. Eel abandoned her husband, E. Eel, and she and her family took undue charge of the grand body. As you know that I am the very first real supreme Greek sheep since the time of Brother William Morrison Hill. And as you and all the others have agreed not to reveal this fact, as we still have a multitude of open enemies and foes facing us, would instantly turn on us like wolves. 3, as we all know how Brother Braswell Bay feels about you, especially in regards to your and my relationship, and to the wise I accept you into the fold here in Grand Temple number 1. Yes, he is jealous of you, and he fears that you will stand up against him when the time comes for a new Supreme Grand Chief, and he seeks to step in and try to take my position. 4, yes, we in the meeting of the Supreme Grand Council, yes, Brother Rael, we had a meeting that you and all the other grand heads wasn't aware of until convention time. And yet we didn't intend to spring this idea of us redetermine what the Supreme Grand Council is identified to the term grand body. As we determined is based upon the fact that there is much confusion surrounding it. So ensure that no outside interference would hinder our future growth and development as it was established by the prophet Noble Dwali. 5, as we previously said that since the overthrowing of the Supreme Grand Council, we determined that they are to be recognized as being one and the same as the grand body. And as you previously declared in the package to me, that they represent being our prophet in Act 1. So we actually in agreement with you. Now, since the divine constitution cannot be changed, overthrown by anyone connected with this body, I, the Supreme Grand Chief, will defend Act 1 of the divine constitution to the fullest. As all we have done is allow all of you who have been desired to become members of the Supreme Grand Council have been debating this fact. It came as a surprise to me that you are openly against the move here by us. 6, and yes, we should have given temples reports to all the other temples. Our Supreme Grand Chief will see that this is done from now on. Then he closed off with this. As being an executive ruler, you well know that it's hard for me to get Braswell Bay to accept this. And you did agree to take our charter. You did agree to take your charter down and raise up our warrant of authority and personal warrant, which we gave you from here. Hopefully you will come to see our position and adjust yourself to this. As I would not disband the present Supreme Grand Council in your favor. Please come to a better term with us and try to overlook our mistakes and errors. I expect to hear from you within 30 days upon your reception of this letter. At that time, we can clarify your desire to remain with the body or continue on your own as you were several years ago. Now, he says it all. They had a meeting. The grand body wasn't there, and they determined that now the grand body is them. So the Supreme Grand Council and the grand body became one. That ain't how the prophet set it up. There's no dictatorship. See? So, this is why, in that letter, he continued to say he recognized me because I was an officer and making addresses stuff before I met him. By whose authority? By my charter and by the people that gave it to me. The person that gave me my charter was a governor. What is a governor? A governor is an executive ruler of the more scientific of America. They don't teach over there what an executive ruler is and what a chief executive ruler is, who the grand ruler is. We teach over here that. So now, it's according to your devil. It's according to the size of your devil, who you believe. Well, if you notice one thing, I invited Trump Taharka Jr. to come on my site. I invited his other brother who wanted to debate with me or talk with me. I said, come on our website, get your phone number, and you can call me ahead of time and we can discuss in an intelligent tone the rules of engagement of our conversation. So on this, if me and him agree, I wouldn't call him no punk and no faggot. But he lying on me, I wouldn't have called him Trump Jr. But he lying, his false news. He got mad at me because I kicked his woman out to jump. Now, those that know me can say this here. Haven't I been on other people's shows? Go to Set Anetta show. See when I'm on there. Go see the Son of Man. See what I'm on the Son of Man show. Go back to California. See what I'm on the Brothers show in 2007 in California, the Sunni Muslim show. I've been on a bunch of people's shows. I even was on Nightline. And when they just had this thing about the rise of the Moors, the Nation of Islam contacted me and I spoke to them. I got that right here. See? Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm in other people's books. The only people I have a problem with is Moors. Because of their ego, what they want to be. See, one of the staunchest defenders of the gospel is me. I'm not going to let no fake would-be person step up in our prophet's place. I was telling his brother in Baltimore, you know, that Trump Jr., Taharka, was supposed to turn in everything. The prophet said when you lose confidence, turn in your Quran, your faith, all that stuff, you're supposed to turn it in. Especially his charter, especially your nationality cards you got from them. But you didn't. Now, this Negro just said, how is it you left the organization and didn't represent it? Didn't he tell on himself? You would have to be a dummy not to recognize that. You know, I was watching this movie called Vegas. And in the movie, this guy on the slot machine, 4 or 3 people had won the slot machine. And the guy walked up to him, Robert De Niro playing the guy. He said, you mean to tell me you don't know that each one of those machines is $6 million to 1 to win? He says odds is against one person winning one machine is $6 million to 1. He said for 3 people to come in on the same day and win multi-million dollars, he said, let me tell you, either you was in on it or you stupid. Either you in on this dumb stuff or you just stupid. But in either case, you're fired. Why? Because we don't need nobody to allow that to happen. The prophet said, watch the European. He's going to tell you the truth. He's going to give you some knowledge. How do you sit up there, listen to this guy, Trump Jr., Taharka, say, how do you represent an organization you left? Plus, man, go ahead and play some more of him for a moment. Drink my coffee.
How are you an executive ruler when an executive ruler is a member of the Supreme Grand Council? But mind you, these Moors didn't even know the function of the Supreme Grand Council at this time. I got letters to prove that. They didn't know the difference between the Supreme Grand Council and the Supreme Body or the Grand Body. And they arguing in letters about that. So they don't even know the function of the Supreme Grand Council at this time. But it says he was already an executive ruler. We trust that our separation, his position doesn't harden, whereas we cannot come back together as a grand body. As for Jama Mora Bey, he now holds the same membership as the role he did when he brought him over with you. I, Supreme Grand Sheikh, revoke his warrant of authority as he didn't send. None of this stuff makes sense. This is like really uneducated manipulation right here, because you can see right through it. Now listen to it one more time. I, the Supreme Grand Sheikh, revoke his warrant of authority. How do you revoke his warrant of authority, but he hold his same membership role as did before you brought him with you? Listen to what it says. I understand what he's trying to say, but it's just not. It's just.
Why is he running his same membership role? Being a member and officer are two different things, right? So if the warrant of authority made him an officer, and you took it away from him, he became what? A member. It's simple, stupid. See how simple it is? He was still in the temple. Lane Hill, Maury Bay, and Satayil became the head of that temple. What was he doing in the temple? A member. See, he's so stupid, because if he wasn't stupid, he'd remember that when the prophet removed Lomax Bey from office, he said the only thing Lomax Bey can be is a member. He said he separated Lomax Bey from the temple, and the only thing he can be in the temple from now on is a member. When you got a warrant of authority, you're an officer. Go ahead, next. And the Supreme Grand Council and the Grand Body are two different things.
Just not spreading out right. Trying to sound like the prophet, in fact. As he didn't send his warrant of authority, which we of the Grand Body gave him through you. Now, as I personally known you for over 16 years, and how our understanding got to this point, I really don't know. But all I have done is try to be the best sheikh that I can be. And now that I am sickly, it's hope that we can remain brothers in faith. Anyway, am now feeling go hot and bring this letter to an end. I don't know what that means. Please don't allow your feelings towards Raswell Bey keep you at distance from us. I would like to hear from you still. All right. So this is the part where he was supposed to be turning in his papers, and boom, that's it. And now he's something else. Now, hold up. Let's get this guarded. It's about to get heat. It's about to get hot. So the first time, him and his crackhead buddies appointed him. The second time, supposedly, P. Davis L. appointed him, and then P. Davis L. revoked his warrant of authority, but still said he was a representative. How that worked, I'm not sure.
Stop it right there. When did P. Davis L. revoke my warrant of authority? I thought they said I voluntarily sent it in. Let me see what they said. He said they revoked my stuff. See how he lie? See how he interjects his little lies? And everybody go for it. You going for it because your devil like it. Your devil eating it up. Ooh, this is like cheese on doo-doo. This is cheese on doo-doo. This tastes better. I never thought about putting cheese on doo-doo. Yeah. So now you put the cheese on your doo-doo, and here you go. This is the letter. Can you see it?
Yes.
Now this is the letter. This letter to Brother Rael from Brother E. Braswell Bay, Supreme Grand Covenant, dated October the 7th, 1996, regarding voluntary submission of warrant of authority. What was it revoked? They say, Braswell Bay said, I turned it in. They got my warrant of authority September 20th, 1996. Said we received, now check it. We received your warrant of authority on Friday, September the 20th, 1996, that you voluntarily relinquished from Temple 2 in Oakland, California. On behalf of the Moorish Scientific American Supreme Grand Council, we accept your voluntary relinquishment of the above warrant as of this day. However, moreover, let it be known that we legally disconnect ourselves from you as representative veteran ETC of the Moorish Scientific American Divine and National Movement. We wish you well and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Sincerely, Braswell Bay. Now, that don't sound like somebody took my stuff. Now, since we'd already had agreed ahead of time, because I had a charter, which I still have on my wall. I had a charter. I just left Brother All Love Ill group because of the thing about Kirkman Bay. And I went over there to whoop Billy Ill butt because he had $300 to $500 out of money, and come to find out he had in his bank account, they didn't have a Temple bank account. So they in the meeting said they're gonna make a new, that the Supreme Grand Council and the Grand Body was one. They ain't how the prophet had it. Then on top of that, they overthrew the prophet and the Grand Body. Because they said they had all the power and authority. They said that in 95. And I told them, no, go. That won't go. That's in my song, too. And they tried to make me, you heard in the letter, they tried to get us to be part of the Supreme Grand Council. I said, I would be the Supreme Grand Minister. But no, Joe, the prophet Grand Body still stands. That's what we disagreed with. But go ahead, put some more Taharka Trump Jr. on.
Now, so what Rasadiel would do, the next thing he would do is self-appoint himself. All right. This is the third. I guess, angle that he would take. He would create his own line. Remember, we talked about that line of leaders right there from the ink, right there from Braswell Bay, from Bailey Hill. He would ultimately create his own line. You see that? Now, I did a presentation on Rasadiel and made him take it down because I told him that he didn't know what he was talking about. He created his own line.
Wait, hold on.
Now,
when did he have a thing with me and made me take it down? I ain't talked to that nigga since I was on this show. He didn't email me stuff. When did he make me take something down? Mo, do you remember him making me take something down?
That's the first I heard that statement.
I still got that on my website and in my teachings. I still got that lineage there. The prophet, Meatley Hill, Morrison Hill, P. Davis Hill, Wally, and then me. I'm the fifth. I didn't create no lineage. This nigga ain't got no lineage. Who he gonna call trace himself to? Bailey Hill, and then the fake prophet Noble Wally. And Belial got kicked out of the temple in 2004. Boy, let's hear some more of this Negro. I don't know how these people even follow him. Ain't nobody question.
The funny thing about this line, family, the funny thing about this line here is that he goes from Emeliel to Morris L. Morris L actually jumped ship and moved with the ink. Then he goes to P. Davis L., who letter I just read, who supposedly gave W. Naeem Bey his leadership. And Naeem Bey will give Rasadiel his leadership. But hold up. I thought we just read that P. Davis L. was at the forefront of putting Ra L. into leadership. Where this guy W. Naeem Bey come from? So he making up his own lineage too. Now, the saddest part about this, this is
what I like about
a post from...
Now, as we get ready to close out in a few, I want everybody to hear it from my mouth. Yes, when P. Davis Hill and them said that the prophet and the grand body no longer had power and authority, that they are the prophet and the grand body. We disagreed with that. Now, some of y'all might go with them and say that they are the prophet and the grand body, and that the prophet and the grand body is no longer in existence. Like Belial said in his 2015 convention. Now, I want y'all to know, how many years was that from 1995 to 2015? Was that 20 years, 30 years, 10 years? So now, 20 years later, Belial say, I was right that they overthrew the prophet and the grand body. Let me see, okay. So what that makes him, because he was there to 2004. I refused to follow them and come up under their rule in 95. So now, what about Waleed Bey? Now, Waleed Bey was brought into the temple from New York. He was the head of Temple 23 in New York. I met him back in 94. So in 94, all us sat down at the table, and he was just a grand chief. They made me a grand governor and gave me paperwork. Now, I was the only one out of all the grand governors in the grand body that had a personal warrant of authority. I was the only one that could make adepts and sheiks and set aside temples. I wonder why. Now, when I left him in 95, Waleed Bey stayed there. What happened? Waleed Bey was going back and forth from here to Georgia, because this is where he's from, and he had a car accident. His wife broke her back, and she was paralyzed. So, I guess while he was sitting in the house with his wife, he started thinking. I got a letter around here where he challenged, he wrote a letter challenging P. Davis Hill, Braswell Bay. I got that letter around here somewhere. And he said almost the same thing I said. How did y'all get rid of the grand body? How did y'all do this and that? So anyway, almost the same letter. Well, why are you challenging us? Woo, 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 woo. So now, Braswell Bay is in charge. So Braswell Bay supposed to come down here and make Waleed Bey the grand governor of the state. He come down here and he make Waleed Bey the grand governor of the state, and he make Mahdi make him the chairman. So anyway, after that, they were still arguing, and somehow Braswell Bay came down and he went to Alabama. The Mo couldn't make it because his wife's back was broke. So the other brother went over there, and his name is Gates Bay. He made Gates Bay the governor of the state, the head of Temple 21. Ain't that something? So that's why they fell out. Now, meanwhile, I'm still about unity. I'm talking to brothers all across the country. We need to come together and do this and that. I'm talking about unity. Now, Pray for Ill told me, you know, Brother Rael, you know I follow Timothy Dingle Will aka Prophet Noble Ali in this air time. I said, brother, I can't put him on my table. When we serve the food of divinity, we can't put him on the table. So that's why we didn't get together. Now, what happened was, later on, the thing that popped up was the Council of Grand Governors. So I became a member of the Council of Grand Governors. Now, we thought we was creating something new. But in actuality, when I went to the Schomburg Library and got some old Moorish guides and paperwork, guess what I found? The Grand Council of Governors. And I was like, that's deep. Look how deep we in line with the prophet's teaching and what's moving her. They had the Grand Council of Governors. I said, oh. So we became the Grand Council of Governors. As time went on and we started solidifying ourselves, we recognized the fact that we have to have a grand body like the prophet had. We have to do the same thing the prophet did. So in doing that, they wanted to make me the Supreme Grand Sheikh. I said, no. I said, I'll be the Supreme Minister. Well, who do you think we should make the Supreme Grand Sheikh? Wali. Let Wali be the Supreme Grand Sheikh. That's how he got to be the Supreme Grand Sheikh. And I was the Supreme Minister. So I ain't got no ego. I'm not trying to be number one. If the Supreme Grand Minister was number 5 out of 7, I'd have been that. If he was number 7 out of 7, I'd have been that. I wasn't trying to hold nothing. I wasn't trying to form nothing. I wasn't trying to make no noble temples. I wasn't trying to go around the country and belittle everybody and say, I know this and I know that. You don't know a damn thing. Play a little more of that Negro. Let's listen to this Negro, Trump Jr. Taharka.
From 2015, right? Just 10 years ago. He's calling himself a Supreme Grand Sheikh, right? Or Sheikh or whatever you want to call it. But he doesn't even know the position of the flags. Look how the flags are positioned. The way that the prophet flew the flags is opposite of the way he got them. Opposite. I don't care what anybody say. I debate anybody on it any day of the week just because they seen the flags in the
I got
office.
the Moorish flag to the right and the American flag to the left. How did the prophet have it in his office? Wait a minute, how did the prophet? Y'all got to be dumb Negroes if you ain't seen the prophet in his office. The Moorish flag is to his right and the American flag is to his left. But go ahead on.
And because they didn't understand why the flags was like that in the office, I debate anybody on that any day of the week, and then I show you with proof in some prophet pictures how the flags are supposed to be. But these flags are backwards, and he's supposed to be a Supreme Grand Sheikh. This is in 2015. But he brags about how many people that was under the prophet taught him. This is what he brags about. I don't believe any of those wives' tales. Some people do, but I don't believe any of those wives' tales. They're just silly. It doesn't make sense. Now, let's get down. All right. Now, here is the next step. This is a letter to Ras Adiel from Braswell Bay. Let me downsize it. Those were the 3 amigos. We received your warrant of authority on Friday, September the 20th, 1996, that you voluntarily relinquished from Temple 2 in Oakland, California. On behalf of the Moorish Science Temple of America Supreme Grand Council, we accept your voluntary relinquishing and above warrant of authority as of this day. Moreover, let it be known that we are legally disconnecting ourselves from you as a representative vestryman of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish National and Divine Movement of North America. Wish you well and love. So now,
is that the same way I just talked about? Word for word. Wait a minute. How come I ain't making stuff up about that? Wait a minute, hold it. He said all these other letters I faked and made up. But this letter is truthful, huh? Go ahead, Mo. Satan
The
biting his
letter
own
that
tail.
should have been displayed when he says that he was put in power by P. Davis L, or whatever case may be. So we still looking for these credentials. Press 7 if we still looking for these credentials. I mean, we still looking for these credentials. We need the credentials. We need assigned credentials that some authority put him in place, or how he ascend to Supreme Grand Sheik. How does he ascend to Supreme Grand Sheik? All right. Stay with me now. Stay with me now.
Yeah,
I'm asking for these
you
sevens because I
became
want to make sure
Supreme
you're paying
Grand Sheik.
attention. I want to make sure you're paying attention.
We
But
wanna
this
make
is
sure
how
you're
these
paying attention. How
crooks
you
have
become-
been crooked with people for a long time in the Moorish Science Temple of America. They've been crooked. They've been playing people. They embezzlers.
Wait a minute.
This guy been embezzling for over 40 years.
Wait, hold.
Let me see.
How did he become a Supreme Grand Sheik? When he left the temple. He said himself, right? That he left the organization. How can he represent an organization he left? I didn't leave an organization. I defended the organization. Used my charter that I originally had. Wait a minute. Your devil must be stronger than all you can listen to is bull. You want cheese on your doo-doo. He didn't did nothing but threw some cheese on the doo-doo. Go ahead on.
Yeah. Since the late 80s. Smoking crack with dudes' money.
Now,
And nobody supposed to say nothing?
Wait a minute. He said I smoked crack with dudes' money, but I wasn't in no temple. How I smoke crack with dudes? Oh, you talking about I spent my own money? Oh, so I was spending my own money every day on some crack. I was. That wasn't no dude's money. I wasn't in no temple. A crackhead ain't in no temple. A crackhead ain't making no Friday meetings when he got a habit. A crackhead ain't getting up to go to Sunday meetings. And the most I was around this, I used to ask them, how come you ain't got no drawers on? I was around a whole lot of moles getting high. Let me show you. Hold on. Woo. This would happen under my leadership. Move, man. Let me show you what happened under my leadership. There was a lot of Moors getting high. See the Moors? Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wait a minute. This book falling apart. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna take some of them out the plastic. Look at all these Moors. Can you see it?
You come closer.
All right. Look at the Moors pointing. This seed is for you. Taharka, you should have joined my temple. Wait a minute. This is after I got high and stopped getting high, Mo. Look at that.
Come closer to that.
Now this brother here, this is Salon Ali Eel. He came to Glide. I was at Glide, the drug program that I was in, that I started teaching in. Let me get some pictures of me in the circle at Glide. See some of these brothers? These brothers out in the street with me getting high. I taught them into joining the temple. Look at that. Here goes some in the circle. Look at that. Look at them brothers with their turbans on. Some more, tilted, some more?
Yeah.
Which way?
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
You see that picture down there?
Yes,
That's in the circle. That's a generation. They call that a generation. You see the Moors in there? There's 4 Moors in here. 3 males and 1 female. I had them all go to Glide to get clean. Look at them. Some of them graduate. Look. Look at them. Now, he said, I was taking money to do what? I was smoking the temple money up. See, he's smoking the temple money up now. He wasting y'all time now. Because I'm sitting up here, I'm like, wow, we became so popular in the drug program as counselors that Reverend Cecil Williams hired us to bodyguard him. Why would he hire crackheads to bodyguard him? I was there when Clinton came. I was there with Jerry Brown, the governor. I was there with Governor Dukakis. Wait a minute, what is this nigga talking about? All that. Malcolm X used to be a dope fiend and a pimp. I can't do that, huh? He the only one could be a pimp and a dope fiend and turn to Allah. Allah only works for them. It don't work for us. They said Elijah Muhammad used to be an alcoholic, a drunkard. The miracle didn't work for him. Oh, well, Paul was on the highway. He trying to do a Paul demonstration. And you the devil. I can show all the proof. What's the record say? That's why the Negro don't come on my show. Because he ain't got nothing. I got tons of documents. And I was there. I help Moles get clean. See, you got to understand, when you somewhere, there's 2 things you can do. The prophets say, man finds himself best where to solve his problems. Also, man finds himself best where to create his problem. Now, Taharka just said that how you leave the organization and become a representative organization, where in the hell he come from? He was supposed to turn in his charter to Belly Hill. Or Warren Authority, whatever. I did all that. Now, I'm proof of that. Wait a minute. Didn't Braswell Bay say I voluntarily turned my stuff in? I know the law. I voluntarily turned their stuff in. Whatever they gave me, I turned it back in that I didn't pay for. Whatever I paid for was mine. My dude's cars, that's mine. I already had a nationality card before I met him. I was an executive ruler before I met him. I was a master student before I met him. Belly Hill was a homosexual that got put out the temple in 2004. I remember I was in the basement then, and he called me whining and stuff. You wouldn't believe what Braswell Bay has done. I said, what did he do, man? He put me out the temple. I'm out here, but I'm waiting for Lane Neal to get here. I said, brother, I told you that's what he's going to do. Huh? I said, I told you that's what he do. He ain't never took over nothing and didn't get rid of people that helped him get there. He got rid of Lane Neal, A. Moreland, and Sataya, all in one lump, and some more people. But he sued me without me knowing. He didn't send me no summons to come to court. He gave all them summons all the way to California. And the brother down here, I got that letter. The brother down here by the name of Gates Bay, me and him was sitting in a restaurant in Starbucks talking all the time. He said, Brother Rice, you know more than I do. Let's sit down and talk. I said, I ain't got no, I'm not afraid to talk to you, Mo. Come on. I showed him paperwork from the body that he's in. I showed him I'm the one that made him have the difference between the white circle 7 and the blue circle 7. I showed him all in paperwork. But now, in 2005, I come to find out he done wrote Braswell Bay. Right, you're gonna start a temple down here. We got to close him down before you open the temple. We got to do this. So I'm like, but you the same nigga that said you was coming for a unity meeting. When I got down, I said, we need to work with each other. I didn't ask nobody to come up under me. I said, we need to sit down at a round table and agree to work with each other. Because I said there's going to be some people coming here that ain't Moors at all. But anyway, we're going to close out because we through with that nigga. Let me tell you now, Trump Jr., Taharka, the fool. You ain't got nothing on me. And the reason you don't come on my show is because you ain't got nothing to show. You just answer, you just put your own dumb stuff out there. How you lead the organization and still represent it? Did he say that? Matter of fact, I'm going to have the Queen Mother take that off and record it. Put it on a little spin where it goes over and over again. How you going to leave an organization to be represented? How you going to be organized? How did you do it? See, this is what the devil do. He do a sleight of hand, 3-card model. Now you see it, now you don't. If you look too long, I guess you won't. I used to play 3-card model. I used to do it with the cups. I used to do the cards, 3-card model and the cups. I said, now you see it, now you don't. Look too long, I guess you won't. Anybody talking? Anybody say anything before we close out?
It's our
Okay. Anyway, let me tell y'all something. I'm not mad at you if you're a Muslim. I'm not mad at you if you're a Christian. I'm not mad at you if you're so-called Black Hebrew or Hebrew. I'm not mad at you if you're a fake Moor. I'm upset at your devil. I'm not mad at you. Because the prophet said, you look in the face of the man, you look in the face of Allah. I'm not talking about who I see. I'm talking about what you got in you that you playing with. Just like that guy, I'm going to close out with this. The guy, Sheikh 7 Islam Hill, he didn't block me for some reason. But he got my ex-member up there holding him up. He holding my ex-member. I don't understand, y'all. I put him out the temple, you hold him up. I guess y'all can go with Taharka. I guess that's a Taharka move. We're going to call that from now on a Taharka move. You leave the temple, you can be whatever you say you are. Well, I came to the Moor Sign Temple of America, unconscious Asiatic, in 1977. I ain't never left the Moor Sign Temple of America. I done went through my stages in the Moor Sign Temple of America. That's why I don't be mad at a lot of people, because you go through your stages. If you don't learn from it, it's not your fault. Not my fault, it's your fault. If you can't learn from what I'm teaching, that's not my fault. That's your fault. Because I make myself perfectly clear. I'm not a punk or a faggot. And I don't support such. But y'all blocking me. I'm not blocking y'all. But some of y'all won't block because I ain't got time for that dumb stuff. Y'all want to put mayonnaise and cheese on doo-doo. I'm not a doo-doo eater. I know by your breath where you've been eating at. If your breath stank like doo-doo, I know you've been to the doo-doo farm. Chitlins don't smell right. So I'm going to leave y'all in peace. I'm going to say, Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah. Go ahead and close that mouth.
Islam.
That Mo say
Islam.
that the prophet had the flags up different than me.
Today I'm riding home. I'll let you know what you want to be. Let me know if Allah made me. There's a lot of you.
The controversy. 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 We're talking about the controversy. The controversy. The controversy. The controversy. The controversy. The controversy. The controversy.
What is this?
Today we're talking about the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The chief minister ain't this. The chief minister that. I didn't form nothing. Nothing. All I did was continue what was trying to be discontinued. 1995, Supreme Grand Council that is, stood up and say the prophet grand body is no more. And I said, no, Joe, that won't go. No, Joe, that won't go. That won't go here. I said I would continue on. They said, well, brother, right here, we're going to make you a supreme member of the Supreme Grand Council. I say, all is well with that idea. But guess what? The grand body still is. The grand body still is the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. We're talking about the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy.
What is this?
Today we're talking about the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The chief minister ain't this. The chief minister that. I didn't form nothing. Nothing. All I did was continue what was trying to be discontinued. 1995, Supreme Grand Council that is, stood up and say the prophet grand body is no more. And I said, no, Joe, that won't go. No, Joe, that won't go. That won't go here. I said I would continue on. They said, well, brother, right here, we're going to make you a supreme member of the Supreme Grand Council. I say, all is well with that idea. Well, guess what? The grand body still, the grand body still, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy. The controversy, the controversy.